This week we're going to be talking about a film that's in theaters right now, starring Ryan Gosling and directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. That's 2026's Project Hail Mary, this week on Masterpiece Theater. And that was a clip from Project Hail Mary. It's going to be hard for me to summarize this film, guys, but just going off of the top of my head, I saw this movie on Sunday evening, and it's been a couple days now. But this is a middle school science teacher that's a bit underqualified for his job, I'll give you that. That's out there to save the universe because some kind of microorganism, I believe they refer to it as the astrophage, is eating our sun, or that's Earth's star, our solar system star. And so an international team, basically, that's backed and funded by the UN almost, is set about to figure out a way to stop this process from occurring. In that process, they recruit Ryan Gosling's character, known as Ryland Grace, and get him to hypothesize some kind of solution to this problem. They notice another star system in our galaxy that doesn't seem to be having this problem like many others. And so they propose that they send him and a couple others up there in a spacecraft powered by these harvested astrophage microbes and who basically absorb energy. This is just my, I haven't read the book, guys. I'm just being honest with you, what I'm coming up with the premise here, or getting from the premise. So they have to send him out there and basically, once he's out there, figure out how they solve this problem. Well, Ryan Gosling's character, upon waking up, and this is where the film opens, has total amnesia. And as the film progresses, he starts to remember more and more, and we get scenes and more information about his past. But I'll get into my cons of the film. It's not a perfect picture, guys, but this is a good movie. I'll state that right away. Also, there's going to be spoilers in this review, so if you haven't seen this picture yet, it is a good movie. I highly recommend you going out there to your local cinema, and do promote your local theaters, guys. Do help support them, and go see this film, because it is worth seeing, and it's worth the full price of admission. Absolutely. Now, I don't think it's justly receiving the praise that I think it's receiving more praise than it should by many people, including my own film critics. There on Letterboxd. But I'm going to get right into the pros and cons of this film. I'm sure many of you already know the premise of it, and it could be explained much better than the way I've explained it here. He's got to save the universe and stop these microbes, these solar microbes, from destroying our sun. And it's a solid premise. It's a lot of people paint this film as strict science fiction. Of course, this is based on a novelization by Andy Weir, I believe his name is pronounced, about what I'm told is a very fine book. But judging it just from the movie, the premise to me doesn't seem purely science fiction to me. They're inventing their own microbes almost. Some of the predicaments and the situations that Gosling gets himself to, the theoretical principles behind solving this problem, seems a bit to be flirting with fantasy almost to me. Many years ago, the famed science fiction fantasy author Orson Scott Card was quoted as saying that science fiction, by definition, is what can happen but has not occurred yet, or may not ever occur, but yet it can occur. And fantasy is what cannot occur at all. And like I said, some of these situations and these predicaments, the outcomes and formulas involved with this film and its premise, seems to be flirting with fantasy. Now, that's not a knock against this film. It's a knock against those who would say that this is purely science fiction, because I would disagree. It's science fantasy, if anything. But my true cons against this film, and I'll get in my pros for Project Hail Mary also. Of course, this is starring Ryan Gosling, some European lady. I'm not familiar with her. Milena Vaintraub, who is Lily from the AT&T commercial. So really, Gosling was where the star budget went into this picture. And of course, it's directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, and the music, it was composed by Daniel Pemberton of Into the Spider-Verse fame. And I was really impressed with this music, but I'll get more of that in a minute. My cons against Project Hail Mary are the filmmakers have bragged about the usage of animatronics and puppetry in this film. And while done very well concerning the alien Rocky here, almost every other scene besides the stuff with Rocky, any other thing in space is purely CGI. The ships, they weren't using miniatures or models like they did a while back. And I always thought and I always felt that miniatures and models used for spaceships looked better. They had weight to them. CG to me doesn't carry that. You have shadows and crevices and nuances and mass when it comes to a model being filmed, like they did in the early TNG days, Star Trek TNG days, or uh, Battlestar Galactica. The Last Starfighter is a picture. Uh, Flight of the Navigator. A lot of films like that. They're using models. So, and I think those look better. And that's not a major knock against the film. That's just something I wanted to add. But Gosling, this is my worst knock against the film. He has a limited range, guys. I know a lot of people are fans of Ryan Gosling. He's a good actor. I like Ryan Gosling. I don't love Ryan Gosling. Let's compare his his performance here to, say, Tom Hanks's in the movie Castaway, and his relationship to the volleyball Wilson in that film. When he loses that ball, Tom Hanks is breaking down. This is my only friend. I mean, he's in true despair. He's crying out. He's weeping heavily for this this imaginary character that we believe is very important to him because of the fantastic, phenomenal performance by Tom Hanks. We can't say that for Ryan Gosling. There's a point in this film here where he almost, and again, spoilers, guys, where he loses Rocky, and we're not sure if he's going to survive this alien. And there's no true sense of danger or despair. I didn't believe that he had real sorrow at any point. At that point, he should have been pouring his heart out to Rocky. Man, you're my only friend here. And I don't know, and just bawling. And I'm not an actor, but I'm saying I didn't see that range from Gosling, guys. And I would have loved to have seen it. It would have helped ground us and anchor us to both Rocky and Gosling's relationship. And it wasn't there. It was a good job that Gosling did, and I think he's a good leading man. He's just not a great character actor, in my opinion. He doesn't have what the range that DiCaprio, Mel Gibson had, Tom Hanks himself, and many others have, in my opinion. Joaquin Phoenix, and I think he should be cast in leading roles, but limited in what roles I think it should be. I mean, that's my opinion about God, and that's my biggest knock against Project Hail Mary. Good actor, just not a great thespian, if that makes any sense. Certain scenes weren't needed. Others were needed that weren't in the film, in my opinion. Again, I haven't seen the book, but there's one scene where he's shopping with this government agent security guard that he kind of got to be buddies with. But the film doesn't explore that relationship further later on. It touches on it in the beginning. And they're seen shopping together for supplies, throwing tape in shopping carts and having a good old time in the grocery store. We didn't need that. We needed that scene directed. That could have been more time spent establishing the relationship between him and Rocky, or exploring some of his backstory as a character who we virtually know nothing about. It's stated very briefly that he doesn't have any family or any attachments to Earth. But why doesn't he? Did he have a falling out with one of his relatives? Who raised him? We don't know or learn any of that, guys, and that's a minor complaint I have against the film. Rocky and the character of Grace, played by Gosling, they were able to communicate in what seemed like a span of 5 minutes in real time and maybe a few hours in film time. And that's, if you look at other works of fiction where alien races or Earth humans confront an alien species, like Star Trek. I'm thinking of the episode Dathan or Darmok of TNG lore. Even they take longer to communicate. They take the whole episode basically to be able to communicate fluently. I didn't see that with Project Hail Mary at all. But through the use of a simple laptop computer, they were able to communicate in what seemed like 5 minutes. I mean, fluently. And I thought that was a little bit ridiculous. If you look at the film Enemy Mine, the old Dennis Quaid, Louis Gossett Jr. 80s film, or early 90s maybe, they took a long time, years in fact, to be able to communicate effectively. I don't think that was very realistic. Again, another point confirming this is indeed science fantasy. not pure science fiction. Because something has spaceships and it's in space, it doesn't automatically make it science fiction, guys. Star Wars, by definition, is fantasy. There's knights, swords, castles. It's pure fantasy. And we know it's based not on any scientific principles that we know of in reality. So, again, I consider this science fantasy. But the audience today, modern audiences to me, strike me as so desperate to accept good writing or for good writing and good storytelling that they'll promote something that's good to something that's great. And this is a problem I have, not against the film, but with modern critiques of this film. Everyone or a lot of people are saying this is 5-star movie. This is not a 5-star movie. When, in my opinion, you rate something 5 stars, you're saying it's the best of the best, that it can't get any better and it's amongst the greatest films of all time. 10 out of 10 or 5 out of 5. That's way too high for this film. It's not even close to that, guys. The film borrows elements from many and inspiration from many other works, including Close Encounters of the Third Kind, including Enemy Mine, including those stories that we've seen before regarding first contact situations between alien life forms. E.T., the relationship between Elliot and E.T. the extraterrestrial. So this film borrows elements of that stuff, for sure. It's not entirely, it's original in the way he not twisted it, but crafted his story. And it's fine to borrow elements, but don't tell me that this is 100% original. It's not, guys. But I think that the audiences today in general, are so desperate for good writing that they'll take something that's even mundane and say it's good. So I'm not aboard that hype train that this film is garnering, but it is a good film, and these are the reasons why I consider it a good film. The animatronics and puppetry is done very well, crafted in an old style that looks very good and looks real, and I was impressed with it. The alien Rocky is cute, and he is likable as a character. He was voiced very well and done very well. He seems like a real living being. I would have liked to have seen more of him. It's a really great score, and I was really impressed with Daniel Pemberton's work here, even more than the music from Beyond the Spider-Verse or Into the Spider-Verse or anything he's done previously. This is a talented young composer, guys, and I don't say that about music nowadays or film composers nowadays, because a lot of them are so old, and the younger ones now, I don't see that talent that I've seen in the previous generations of composers. This guy is a guy I'm keeping my eye on. I think he's a guy that we're going to see a lot more great things come from. And the music was good because it was curious when it needed to be, hopeful when it needed to be, and suspenseful when it needed to be. But this is a clean, wholesome film, guys, and it is good for the whole family. There's no sexuality in this. I don't even know why this picture was rated PG-13. This is a great family film. Now, there are some quirky moments in it, and the ending is a bit controversial for some. But I could see this as a great family picture that if you have a kid, bring your child to it, or if you like a good space fantasy, go and see this. Project Hail Mary is a good film, and that's why I'm giving it a solid 3 stars. That's my rating. Thank you for joining me on Masterpiece Theater, guys. If you'd like to see more of this content, please make sure you subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. I work real hard on these every week, and I enjoy talking to you guys about cinema. This is Matthew Sibley writing for Letterboxd. Until next week, the balcony is closed.